This next recipe is a real personal favourite of mine, and there's a couple of different ways you can do it. It's caramelised onions, and we can dehydrate them just for a couple of hours, again like we've been doing with the previous recipes, or we can leave them in there for longer, 7, 8, 10 hours to get a bit crispier as well. So that's one of those things you can do just a few hours before you want to eat, or you can do them well ahead, overnight, and then store them in the refrigerator, and they'll still be good for a while. So we are going to blend these ingredients together. So caramelised onions are obviously sweet and dark. So we've got the dates. It's going to be our sweetener, and then that's going to give a certain amount of colour as well, a certain amount of darkness. But also then we've got some tamari, which obviously is salty, and we've got some olive oil and some water to help this blend. Now I'm adding the water because there's not really enough volume in there without the water for this to blend on its own in a Vitamix. It will be a little bit difficult to do that, and because we're going to be dehydrating these anyway, the water will just evaporate. So the water really is only to help this blend. Okay, so just take a look at that mixture. It's well blended. No big lumps in there. The dates I was using, by the way, were medjool dates, and obviously with the stones taken out. So we've got some onions here. That's one whole onion, and then we've got another whole onion. And the way I did that was to slice it thinly on the mandolin. So move that out of the way. I can show you. Obviously you can do it like I showed you in the knife skill section, and you can just peel the onion like that and do it into onion rings by hand. But you can actually get a lot thinner doing it with a mandolin. So I can go a little bit thinner than that. You can actually go really kind of paper thin on these if you want to. Okay, so that was 2 medium onions. As you can see, that's just about perfect. I'll get my wooden spoon and just move that around. And obviously the salt in there as well is going to soften those onions up, the salt in the tamari. Keep my empty dehydrator trays, by the way, in the oven. There we go. And then these, you just want to kind of use your hand and just sprinkle them on. Make sure they've got room for the air to get around them. And you might even need to use 2 dehydrator trays, because if you just pack them on top of each other, they won't dehydrate properly. So yeah, 2 to 3 hours for just a kind of semi-dried caramelised onion, or 7 to 8. And I'll show you, I'll get these in the dehydrator and we'll take some out after a few hours, and then we'll leave the rest in there, and then we'll take them out again after 7 or 8 hours, and I'll show you the difference between the two. Our caramelised onions have been in the dehydrator now for a few hours, and this is kind of how they look. Obviously they've started to take on this really nice caramelised effect, but they're still, they're still very pliable and stringy and wet still, and again, especially since this area has been closer to the fan than this, so this is still wetter than this one. So these are great to use as they are, but what we'll do, I'll put them back in the dehydrator and we'll see them after 8, 10, 12 hours, and they go crispier, so you can just see the difference of the two. So here they are after 8 to 10 hours dehydration. As you can see, they've got a lot darker, a lot stickier. There's not any of the kind of the real wet pieces left, but still, you know, still very much stringy and pliable, and great as a garnish. Great in a salad, and we'll be using those later on.